election interference, ladies and gentlemen. However, the poll worker is the one who gets the charge according to the narrative. I'm going to remind you of an aggressive, seemingly criminal assault on poll workers, and then the ironic outcome. Here it is. Bitch. Oh, that's no reason. This is right. Wow. Why is that defending you? It's like defending me. I ain't been shut the hell up. Let me vote. Okay, Jamie. Okay, we ain't got nothing else to say. Wow. Move on. Next thing. There it is right there. No. Wow. Wow, God. Oh. Don't do that. Wow. Now, in that video, you saw an aggressive individual who seemingly committed assault, who also decided to throw his property at another voter who was standing in line. That was clear based on the video. That could also be deemed an assault as well, unwanted physical contact. So what happened? These women attempted to de-escalate. They tried to reason with him. And eventually one just said, listen, we can't service him because he has on election wear. It is a no-no. 500 feet, by the way. He was well within the 500 feet. He's violating the protocol. We have another video update. Here it is.
Orangeburg Department of Public Safety shows up and do what cops do and treat the white man named Mark Allen Morris like the victim. That's right. They charged the poll worker with third-degree assault and battery. In the report, Mark Allen Morris states that he was given a hard time when he entered the voting area just because he was wearing a Let's Go Brandon hat. Even if police claimed they didn't have enough evidence to charge Mark with assault, he not only unlawfully displayed campaign material within 500 feet of a polling location, but also engaged in conduct which disrupted the administration of the polling place. The report also says that they got witness statements and interviews on body cam, which is interesting because South Carolina is one of the states where body cam footage is exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. In 1992, Mark was charged with, you guessed it, assault and battery with the intent to kill, but Calhoun County decided not to indict him. In 1994, Mark pled guilty to his second DUI in Bamberg County. In 1998, Mark was found guilty in Orangeburg County for trespassing on someone's property to go hunting, since we've already established the rules don't apply to him. And in 2006, Mark Allen Morris was charged with domestic violence of a high and aggravated nature.
Yeah. Okay. That's Mr. Community right there, MAGA. Okay, he's the individual they decided to side with, seemingly. Put up the arrest report or the police report. Beth Braden wrote, Orangeburg police have released their report from the incident in which a man appeared irate after being told he could not wear his politically themed hat inside. This man is 54-year-old Mark Allen Morris, and police say he is the victim. He is the victim, according to them. Now, what do you see? Let's first start with wearing campaign material inside of the voting precinct. You see, the law is not a recommendation. And according to the law, poll workers had a few rights here. They could refuse service, which they did. They could also have the individual removed for causing a disturbance and for refusing to leave the material away from the precinct. Leave it in your car, leave it in your home, turn your shirt inside out, put the hat in your pocket. These are things they could have required him to do, but instead he decided to throw the hat, give them a hard time, rush after these women, verbally assault the women, but he is the victim. And then when you look at the tapestry of his background, my goodness, you see, this is a guy who's never been held accountable, in my opinion. He is just waiting for the right opportunity to win. The system must hold him accountable at some point in the future, but at that time, maybe it's too late. There's a victim on the other side that has irrevocable damage done to her or him. This is the state of our current political dynamic. It's unfortunate, but it is before us. Now, I want to say this. People are getting very, very creative about how they display their campaign preferences at polling precincts that say it is illegal, it is unlawful. But I want to remind you of how many poll workers kicked out people for wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirts. Remember that? You see, the other side made it political. And because they decided to politicize a nonpartisan, truly should have been a nonpartisan movement, because they decided to politicize, a poll worker said, oh, that's political. You must turn that shirt inside out. You cannot vote at this precinct. You know what we didn't see? That's what we did not see. Senator Turner, you have long worked in the arena of elected politics, and you know very well the rights of individuals. His rights were not hindered. I would say the person standing in line, their rights were more hindered than his. What say you?
Yeah, I agree, Doc. His behavior was unseemly. It was inappropriate. He should be there just to simply vote and cast the vote and get out of there. But he went in there to antagonize, so it seems. And I'm not talking about his shirt, but the rules are the rules, and different states have different rules. And in this particular state, the poll worker simply pointed out the rules of that particular state. And because, as you highlighted in another video, he's been able to be deemed above the law. None of his behaviors have been, there has been no consequences for his behavior heretofore, and not even this last one, as the poll worker was arrested and charged. Race plays a very pivotal role in why this happened. There is no doubt about it, because this man was the one out of order and not the poll workers. He was threatening as well, and that should not be allowed. So, Doc, it is a state by state thing. I want to let our viewers know that in my home state, just recently, our Secretary of State, Secretary LaRose, just wrote a memo that says that MAGA wear can be worn, not just MAGA, let me just say, he said, "Make America Great Again," t-shirts can be worn, and also "I'm with her," t-shirts or other clothing can be worn. That's the state of Ohio, though. Before that, none of that would have been allowed, but he just said that it can be. So viewers need to know state by state on what you can wear when you go inside a polling place. However, you should not be allowed, no matter what you're wearing, to be able to threaten or be menacing towards poll workers who are simply just trying to do their jobs. And Doc, on top of that, they're really not making a whole lot of money. I mean, this is really a civic duty. When you get to the polling level, they're not workers. I mean, usually the poll workers do not work for the various county boards of elections directly. There may be some county boards of election workers there, but primarily poll workers are people doing their civic duty, and they may get a few coins here and there to do it. That man was out of line, out of order, and the police department should be. I mean, if I was the chief of this department, I would be ashamed of how my officers handled this situation.
Yeah, I concur 100%. We shall see if there's an update to this, but obviously our eyes all saw the same thing here.